Well, hello there, it's the Crypto Lunatic, and today I asked the question, can newcomers to crypto make 10,000x gains? Well, this video is going to be a very practical guide to what you can expect and what not to expect when you're new to crypto. Because one thing I can tell you is you'll get every influencer and their dog putting insane figures about returns because it's clickbait, folks. It's clickbait. And I will tell you straight off the bat, the answer for most people new to crypto is no. It's no. It's no, you can't. Not yet. But what I am going to give you is on this video is the potential that in the future that yes, that is possible. If you're looking at it, this bull cycle this year, probably not. But on a longer term scale, absolutely, it is possible. If you get in now to the right project that has the right sustainability, the right fundamentals, and the right community, then it's absolutely possible. So if you're prepared to expand your mind and look a little bit bigger picture, let me guide you into the basics of getting started in crypto and what to look for. So today I'm going to take newcomers to crypto on a little journey of just how to use a single resource, and that's CoinMarketCap. I'm going to tell you what narratives I think that we can look at in the short term that will win and possibly in the long term, and get you to think in the right way for the long term. For the long term. So this is a newcomer's guide. So let's start that I'm based in the UK. If you're based in the UK, we are so crypto unfriendly over here. You're going to have big issues before you can even make a single trade. So let's talk about that. Getting started on an exchange is difficult for two reasons. One, it takes time to register. And secondly, some banks just will not allow you to let your money onto certain exchanges. So these are the very basics that you're going to have to navigate if you're in a crypto unfriendly country like the UK. So step one is set up on an exchange. Now, the exchanges I think that you can use in the UK, or a couple of them, are eToro. I don't recommend them. Revolut, I don't necessarily recommend them, but they're possibly the best of a bad bunch. And you've also got Binance. But I think the UK has made it very difficult for Binance to function here. So you've got Coinbase as well. Now, Coinbase is a solid exchange. You will pay bigger fees. So none of them are great. I'm not recommending any of them. I'm just saying that they're places that you need to necessarily start. And I usually start with Revolut because my friends who ask me about crypto that are new to the game usually have an account already. So that's the factor. The first factor is set yourself up so that you can trade. It doesn't matter which one. By all means, ask questions in the comments if you've got any, but that's the first step. First step, get yourself an active account that you can go and invest in crypto if that's your game. And of course, folks, for the record, this is not financial advice. This is just random musings of somebody that's had to start in crypto and find out a lot of things the hard way. So, that's the first thing that you need to bear in mind if you're going to get yourself in crypto. It takes time to register, and the UK is very uncrypto friendly. Crypto unfriendly, we are. And certainly my bank restricts me from sending money to most places. To most places, even exchanges that I have a track record of sending money to, it restricts the amount I can send, tiny little amounts. And these are factors, if you're going to get into crypto, that you have to start preparing yourself for now. So for me, the easiest transition, the easiest way to get money from my bank into an exchange currently is through Revolut. So there you go. That's how it operates in the UK. And again, I'm not here to recommend Revolut. I think that their fee structure is not necessarily great for people that are new to the space that are only investing tiny amounts. But that's another conversation for another day. So once you are set up on an exchange, let's take a look at the basics of just one single resource of CoinMarketCap. Let me take you on a little journey. Let me help you to identify what the future could be. So let's look at this. Let's start here. So Bitcoin If you followed any of my videos, you'll know that this is the premium cryptocurrency, and it's different to every other cryptocurrency. So the game is to get as much Bitcoin as you can. And the reason being is that Bitcoin is never going to call. Nobody's ever going to drag Bitcoin down because nobody knows who created it. And Bitcoin is classified differently to every other cryptocurrency. So the game really, if you're in crypto, is to hold as much Bitcoin as you can. And Bitcoin, because of the way that it's structured and the code involved, means that it will only go up over time. So although it looks expensive, you will look back at this in 5 years and think, wow, I could have got in at that time. Unless there is a massive collapse globally, and some are saying that quantum computers is a threat to Bitcoin. But that's another conversation for another day. Currently, Bitcoin is the premium asset. Now, Ethereum was the second crypto to market. Now, they went for getting there first, and they've got a clunkier system. Now, some would argue that it's the second biggest crypto, and it is by market cap, but it's expensive and it's slow. And there's far more people using the likes of Solana right now, which is looking like a very solid project. But these are the big cap cryptos. You want the 10,000x gainers, the 10,000x gainers. Now, I'm pretty certain, based on current metrics, unless something massive happens to shift the balance, that Solana is going to be a very good long-term bet based on the current amount of people that are using that blockchain. So this is a fairly solid project. But what seems to be the narratives now? So you can go on CoinMarketCap here, and we look at trending coins here, and you'll see, look, oh my God, look, if I got in alpaca, I could have had 355% gains in a single day. And this is what crypto does to people. It's like, how do I find these coins? Now, there's a lot of manipulation and there's a lot of factors involved. And I'm going to say, for your mental health, start looking on a longer term time frame will be better for your mental health. Until you become very experienced and you're massively down the rabbit hole, start now by picking projects that have got reasonable fundamentals or could have long-term prospects. So there's categories that have done really, really well so far in this cycle. And one of them is AI projects. Now, AI appears to be the future, the way things are going. And on that basis, the premium AI product is BitTensor Tau. Now, this, some are saying, is the Bitcoin of AI. And some are predicting that this will go exactly the same way. So if you are more risk averse and you're looking on a longer term time frame, then BitTensor Tau could be a very good bet. The same with Near Protocol. Near Protocol is an AI focused blockchain, and I believe that price, that this is a very good long-term bet. But of course, it's not as populous as the likes of Solana, which means that there is plenty of room for a near protocol killer to come onto the space. So from a longer term perspective, you're hedging your bets, you're taking the risk. Now, there's a big army that gets behind something like Internet Computer. And if we look at the price, this is insane. I don't trust this project at all. I am not a fan of Internet Computer, but at this price, it will almost definitely go up. It will almost definitely go up. But you have to go for projects that have solid fundamentals and that you believe in. I personally do not feel that there's something feels off about this project. And just to bring your awareness, this is why people think it's going to do so well. Let's have a little look at the chart of Internet Computer. And this is a classic case of crypto dumpage. This is going to be a really good user case of what happens when too many early stage investors have too many tokens. It came off with a load of hype. Look at this. Look, it's $428 when it launched, and it went straight down because all of these early stage investors saw a chance to dump on the market, and that's what they did. They took it straight down to here, $30. That's a little pump. Some people thought, oh, that's a bargain, and then it just collapsed. There's been dumpage, 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 dumpage. Now, there's not even a maximum supply. So there's going to be more tokens on the market. So the current total supply is the same as the circulating supply, but there's no maximum supply, which means that there's probably going to be more tokens coming out. So will internet computer make money? It probably will, but something feels off about this project for me. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying this because there's a big internet computer army that promote that project. But me personally, no. I'm saying if you want a more solid project, then Near and BitTensor are probably a better bet. Let's compare the charts. Let's actually just go in and compare the charts. So let's go to all here. And we can see with Near that when it was launched, this is a far healthier looking chart. When it was launched, it's $1.69. Had a little pump, then went down, then had a bigger pump. So here had a bigger pump and went down. Then it went down again. This was at the end of the last bull market, and it's been sitting here. It's been brewing, been cooking away. Had a little pump when the market went up to $6, $7, almost $8, then down back up again to around about the $8 mark. And here we are down at $2.51. Now, I would say that you can pretty much expect that if you're after a solid project and you're after some decent gains and you stop chasing the 10,000x returns just for this year, that you can look at a reasonable return rate for this. I'll be very surprised if it doesn't 5 to 10x this year on Near Protocol, because it's a solid project with solid foundations and it looks good. It looks good. So that's Near. Now let's compare that with BitTensor Tau. So these are big. These are bigger. This is the biggest AI project. Now this has pumped, but this could, some are touting this as the Bitcoin of AI. Whether it is or not, I'm not going to put that down. But you see, they've done exactly the same maximum supply, 21 million, as Bitcoin. So they're positioning this as a Bitcoin of AI. And of course, all the early stage people got in here around about the $70, $93 mark. And you can see on the bigger picture of things, yes, it's proved that it will go up to around about the 690. And that was last year. So we can see that it's shown that it does pump. And you can almost definitely expect that it's going to at least recreate these highs and go higher because the chart shows solid fundamentals. And this could be a good long-term project. This could, if it's to be believed, this could be like getting in on the AI equivalent of Bitcoin. Whether it is or isn't, well, that's for you to decide. I'm not here to promote that or not. I'm just to say that if you're more risk averse, then that is the sort of project you look into. Now we're going to go right down. We've got Fcoin, which is an AI meme coin. Now, this has had massive traction because of the name. People love the comedy involved. It's a meme coin. So here, let's look at the chart for Fcoin. Now, this has seen some insane gains. And of course, look, people at the beginning could have got in for a fraction of a cent. And it's now sitting on $1.13. And this probably will go up, not because there's anything solid about this project at all. It's because of the name. And people like this name. They like this name. So we go down. We can look. What is it? Fcoin live data. Now, just for the record, let's have a bit of fun here. Let's look at their website. What is Fcoin? Now, as you can see, that's less than a compelling website. I mean, it looks ridiculous. Fcoin. It looks almost like it's positioning as a scam project. It's insane. So there you go. But Fcoin is getting data, and not only that, if we check how many markets is it on, we see it's on all sorts of markets. Look, over 19 pages of them. It's on crypto.com, it's on KuCoin, Gate, MEXC, Orca, Radium. Now, these are big exchanges. So it has great access. A lot of places are selling Fcoin, which tells me that it has potential. And because it falls into that meme coin category, you'll also see that the maximum supply is virtually the same as the circulating supply, as in most meme coins. So that probably will go up in this cycle. How much? I've got no idea. So let's go down further. If you're serious about more shorter term or finding projects at their grassroots, then you want to think long term, but you want to go for tiny market cap projects. Now, in the zone of about 100 to 300,000 market cap, you have a nice balance of proven traction and early stage. So these projects here, if you're serious about finding long term, these are the ones to look into because they're not quite degen, they're not quite early stage projects, but they are small enough market cap that you could make serious returns if you get the right one. Now, I can tell you, based on the content that I have been consuming lately, is that there's a lot of people promoting this. There's a lot of people promoting this. There's a lot of people promoting. Let's have a look. Let's go down. Casper's another one. Destra. You've got big influencers promoting this. This will almost definitely pump on this cycle. And you've got Pal AI. This is another one that's getting pumped by a lot of influence. These projects in this cycle will almost definitely shoot up. They'll almost definitely shoot up just because of the amount of people that are talking about them. We go down Echelon Prime. There's another one. That one's going to shoot up. We've seen influencers promoting that at around about the $17 mark. So be very surprised if you don't make some serious gains on these. But again, will you have access to them? Now, the game here is to find these projects and to even buy them when no one's talking about them on a retrace or to wait for a dip. Never chase the pump, folks. So this is how you find them. Now, Tars AI is one that I've promoted, and I promoted it at a significantly lower price than this. But again, look, you're looking at the market cap. The market cap is 60 million. Now, that's a tiny market cap now. We are in we're not quite the degen zone. Degen is the massively high risk. That's a sub 20 million. Or some would say even sub 10 million market cap. But these are small enough here. When we're talking about the 50 to 100 million market cap, this is your sort of higher risk zone. But the fact that they've made it to the 50 plus million means that they're not pump and dumps. You're almost sure that they're not going to be pump and dumps at this stage. So that's where to look there. And these are AI coins. So if you go any lower, Assemble AI is also another one that I've talked about on my channel. Now, I think a risk reward, this is fantastic because you can get this on Revolut. And this is an AI news feed. So other projects can plug this in to what they do, which means this is the shovel rather than the gold. They're selling the shovels, which means that this can plug into all sorts of other ecosystems. And that sort of fundamental makes projects like Assemble AI, give them bigger potential because they can work with other projects. Now, this is also another one that a lot of big influencers have plugged. Altura, which will almost definitely go up. But again, I'm not here to plug this or not. I'm just saying this is where to look. So AI, the AI narrative is looking solid at the moment. The other one is meme coins. Now, this is highly controversial, my friends, because when we talk about the 10,000x gains, now people were very cynical about things like Dogecoin. So let's bring this alive. This is the use case. This was the first meme. And when this first came out, you had everybody and their dog, funnily enough, let's use their dog, everyone and their dog saying it's a complete scam, no fundamentals, there's nothing to Dogecoin. This was the test case meme coin. Let's bring this alive for you. So this was a stage where everyone were laughing at it, saying it's absolute rubbish. And look, they had every reason to do so because the holders were sitting there on less than a fraction, three zeros before even a number came up. Rubbish, rubbish. This all of the you had hardcore holders that were in the Doge community. It was all a load of rubbish, 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 rubbish. Now, welcome to the potential of the meme coin. So just imagine you've seen decent gains to this point because look, there's one less zero in front of it. So you've already seen like a 10x gain from, especially when it was here. Look, three zeros and a two. And now you've got two zeros and a two. So people have made money up until here, but still no one's taking it seriously. So here we are sitting there at just before Christmas on 2020. And look what sort of a Christmas present the believers in Doge had. Look at this, going into January 2021. And after all of this time with the use case, you've got little people sitting there and then this happens. Look at that. It suddenly goes up to 56 cents. Now, this is the beauty of meme coins. They cannot be predicted. If you get enough community, then this happens. And why did this happen? Well, because Elon Musk started talking about it. Elon Musk starts talking about Dogecoin and suddenly an insane gain. And the people that were sat here believing in it while everybody else was pouring scorn on it are suddenly, some of these people are just, if they've sold here, they've just become multimillionaires. Doge millionaires have been made if they see this gap and they sell. But a lot of people held on, they held on, they held on, they held on, and look. So there's certain people within the Doge community that have made a ton of money because they believed when nobody else did. And meme coins are all about community. There is no utility to most of them. It defies fundamentals of traditional investments. It's about cult communities. So now that Dogecoin has had its day in the sun, everyone and their dog is searching for the next Dogecoin. Then came the Shiba Inu crew. Thought, we'll do the same. We will do the same. We will do the same. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be the next Dogecoin. And so what happened with Shiba Inu? Well, Shiba Inu caught on to the fact that if you create enough tokens, now look at this, the total supply, 589 trillion. Now, Shiba Inu community knew that if you could make people millionaires with $50, which is effectively what they're doing here, by making so many tokens and so much supply, that people could put tiny amounts and be Shiba millionaires. But of course, Shiba millionaire isn't worth very much with these many zeros. But look, what this means here is when you see 0.0 and a small 9, that means 9 zeros to people that got in. Now, look, there's only 4 zeros before a figure there. So people that got in here have already become millionaires because there's 5 zeros it's moved up. Now, that's significant, folks. Just imagine adding 5 zeros to whatever you put in to the meme coin. And this is the dream that people that don't understand investments and retail people that come to the thing and they believe in a project, they hold, they believe, they hold, they believe, goes up like this one day. I mean, look at that. Suddenly only 4 zeros and a 6. And there you go. So these are two test cases of meme coins. Pepe, again, has done really well. Now, I did a video on meme coins. The further down you go, the smaller the market cap, the more explosive potentially the gains could be. Now, this one, SPX, was the first one on the list of the chap that I did a video on called Murad Mammadov. Now, this could quite easily be another Dogecoin. But of course, you see that price. But of course, now we look at the tokenomics. You saw how many trillions, 500 odd trillion in Shiba. This one has under a trillion, only 930 million in the total supply. And the total supply is the same as the circulating supply. So this one does have potential. It certainly does have potential that there could be some insane gains. And of course, the further down the list in memes you go, the more gains that you could potentially get. So let's actually bring this alive. So Brett here we have a nice mix of, it's a fairly big market cap, which shows that this is an established meme coin. And I'm not a holder of Brett, so I've no skin in this game. I'm going to use it as a case study. Now, Brett is the biggest meme coin on Base, and it's got a 609 million market cap, which is a big enough market cap to mean it's taken seriously, but it's small enough that if it did become the next Dogecoin, which as you can see, we're talking massive market caps here, folks, massive. We're talking billions. We're talking billions. And even that is almost 4 times bigger than Shiba Inu. So Doge is the leader. You're not going to make much money on Doge if you get in now. Shiba Inu, you might make a bit in the future. But these are buy and hold now. These are the sort of coins that you could put in £50, £100 or $100 now and just leave it for a few years. This is the dream with meme coins. And this is an area where you could conceivably at some stage make a 10,000x gain. Probably not this year, but in years to come, because you are looking for the community that's going to be the next Doge. Is it Brett? Now, Brett is the biggest meme coin on Base, which gives it an edge. How big is Base going to become? Base is an evolving ecosystem. And let's look. So the people that got in early were getting in here. 3 zeros and a 4. Now you can see they've already made serious money, the people that got in early. And they could have, if they'd sold here, made even more serious money. That Brett has been up to 21 cents. So here is the dream of meme coins, my friends. This is why meme coins are almost definitely going to do well, the right community. But which meme coin? Well, I'm not here to point that out. I've done a video on meme coins, which you're very welcome to have a look at. But the lower the market cap, the bigger potential. And what you want to see is what exchanges are they listed on. So here's where you find them. So I'm going to start because I think memes and AI are 2 very good places to start because they both seem very topical for this cycle. But as far as finding 10,000x gains, this is about believing in projects and getting in early. And if you're looking to do it next week or next month, you're gonna look on crypto and you're gonna see that next coin that has had insane gains in a single day. You're gonna chase them. You're gonna chase them on the way up. The game here is to find them early and just hold when no one's talking about them. I talk about this a lot, and that's why this channel's been set up. It's a small channel because me talking about stuff isn't going to pump anything. It's just going to educate you as to what the dream is and the longer term vision of being into crypto. And this is where it's at, my friends. This is where it's at. So use your own research tool, do your own looking into. And also when you're looking, you can check how many people are believing in the project, how many wallets there are on distribution. In fact, maybe I should have talked that through you. Let's go back. Let's go back a bit. So let's take a coin here. Let's go back and let's look at one of the bigger ones first. Let's look at Pepe. Now, on any of these coins, you want to know how many people are holding them, and you want to know how many people are holding them. So you go here to Etherscan. Look, explorers. This is important. Go to Etherscan. And you want to see how big is their community? Just how many wallets are sitting there with Pepe in it? Because this will give you an indication of how big the community is. How many people have got a vested interest? How many people are going to be telling their mates about Pepe? And you go straight here, holders. And what you see, look, holders. There's almost 500,000, 427,000 holders. That's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. Now you see that the Binance hot wallet, now Binance is an exchange and they sell these tokens. So you'd expect them to have a lot. They're sitting on 16% of the supply. What you don't want in a meme coin is anybody sitting on too big a percentage. Now, obviously, Binance are selling these, so you'd expect them to have a lot. Robinhood, another exchange, you'd expect them to have a few. But you've got somebody here sitting on 3.2% of the supply. Now, it's not massive, but it's still quite a lot. That means that this person has massive potential to dump on you. But you certainly don't want to be seeing private wallets holding more than 5%. I would suggest. These are whales that are involved. You want to see community distribution, but this is where you find it on the Explorer. You can do this with any of these tokens. And another resource to look at, how active are they on social media? And X is usually the place. So if we go on X, see how big their community is and see how much they're engaging with the projects. So Pepe, here we go. Six, they're following six, but look, they've got 793,000. 793,000. And their pinned tweet is from last year. That's not necessarily a good sign. And look, 2023. So they haven't been that active lately. So Pepe's pumping, and they're not even that active on social media at the moment for some reason. Now, of course, that's just one place to check for Pepe. You can check on their other places. So as we go down socials, they're only showing X. So for some reason, Pepe aren't talking about it. Now, is that a bad sign? Well, I don't know. Only you can decide. But an active social media campaign, I would say that Pepe, well, they are going to do well because they've got that many people on board and they're a bigger project. But you want to look at lower projects. How active are they on social media? How many holders are they? What are the distribution of these tokens? And these are the basics of research that you can do when you get into these coins. So can you get 10,000x? Can you pick the next 10,000x? Well, hopefully this has given you a dose of reality rather than just the clickbaity thing when you see the 10,000x thing. And it will give you the tools to go out and start looking for yourself. But either way, if you want more of my little updates, then please do subscribe to the channel and you will find another one